Future Proof is sponsored by Learn Smart Academy, online revision courses for GCSE and A-Level. All your revision in one place, organised for you, interactive and game-changing. Welcome back from the break. Thank you so much for joining me, Sarah Hopwood, as I continue this programme. And it's the first of two programmes looking at time management, better known, certainly in my world, as self-management. I love the fact that time is a good leveller. I shared that in the first half. You can't buy any more time and you can't get rid of any time. Everybody has the same amount of time. And just going into the break, I was talking about now, where, how, and saying work out the where you want to be, but before you start pushing, if you like, for new ideas, new tools, new problems, solution tools, if you like, just work out whether actually distraction is causing your self-management issues. Are you supposedly at work, supposedly doing things that you're being paid to do, but there's something that is distracting you, that keeps, if you like, pulling your attention away from the tasks that you're doing? Because if that's happening, it automatically slows you down. You're also not processing, thinking and planning and assessing as you should. So the job that you're going to eventually so-called complete won't be to the standard that you're happy with, and probably no one else is happy with either. So distractions can be in the form of addictions and of different ways, because you're sat and you're just thinking that you want to be somewhere else other than where you are today. So I'm just saying, if that's you, mind map it and just work out, ask the question, what is distracting me? If you don't know, then maybe go and ask somebody. And if you're not wanting to ask somebody, then that is probably already an indication that something is going on, that you're perhaps keeping quiet, and it is distracting you. It's affecting your self-management, and therefore it's affecting your work. So time management is not your issue at all. It is distraction. So be brave and address it, because whatever you resist persists. Whatever you resist persists. So, really, really be careful. So life balance, there are some headings here around family, social health. And here it's literally just a wheel, and it's just marking where are you on in these particular areas. And the outer rim is 10 out of 10, but we're not looking for a 10 out of 10 for everybody to mark here. But what I say is, so this is just obviously hypothetical as someone's completed it, what are your weaker areas? But then imagine if you joined up all those areas and tried to make a circle out of them, and that was the wheel on your car or your bike or your motorbike. What kind of journey have you had? And of course it would be a very, very bumpy ride. So the goal here is not to try and get a 10 out of 10 at all. It's trying to create balance. People who are in balance tend to have much more influence, they have authority, and they're predictable, they are consistent. So this is all emotionally intelligent leadership, if you've been following any of my content. So people who are balanced are usually have a higher level of emotionally intelligent thinking. They're more agile, they're able to move more swiftly, they're more considered. And so here you could almost have two wheels going, one for work and one for life. And as I say, what you don't want is a bumpy ride. You're looking for a smooth ride. Referring back to another programme that I've made talking about waste, this is clearly relevant to self-management. Where are you wasting some of your time? So thinking of time management, there's an awful lot of time in here that could be spent more effectively working towards your goals. And sometimes when we're very, very good and we like to be good and we're known to be good, more and more people knock on our doors. So those sort of people might have to say no more often, but it doesn't always have to be a blunt no. It could be that you signpost them to someone else who could help them, or you reference them to, I don't know, a link. I even think of GPs. Paul had tennis elbow or something a while ago, and the GP talked to him briefly and then gave him a YouTube link and said, look, this is where it is. So it freed the doctor up. It gave Paul the answer that he needed. So it's good time management, so we've got to watch traditional ways of doing things, finding our new normal, and then normalizing that new normal. Strategic SWOTs. This is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats. This will really, really help you work out how to adjust where you are spending time. And sometimes when we say we haven't got enough time, it could be that what's distracting us, and when you actually equate that and you add those times up, for example, and I'm not saying we shouldn't watch television, I'm not saying that, but you look at time of sleeping, time of eating, time of being on social media, time of watching television, suddenly you've got answers there going, no wonder why I can't do what I want to do. Look at where I'm spending this, spending my time. So sometimes you need to go and look for it and say, okay, what is it that I want to do? How much time will it take? And then go and, if you like, negotiate with your weekly schedule and say, right, I'm going to reduce my TV watching. If you don't do it, in a general term, you might say every Thursday evening, I'm not going to watch telly, I'm going to work on this project instead. So it is a management issue, and it's being effective and just making sure that, when we come to the end of our lives, we don't sit there and go, oh, I wished I watched another 4 hours of television. I don't think anybody would say that. So make sure that you are doing what you want to do, and that distractions and bad habits aren't actually pulling you away. So here is an example of a strategic SWOT, and this is where we put the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats on the outside of the familiar box that you might be used to if you know this tool. And the reason why we do it outside is because we then cross-reference each box. How can our strengths elevate opportunities? You literally cross-reference, and if you cross-reference every single box, then that means that you've got action plans in there already. From that, you can prioritise perhaps an action plan, and then you can say, right, I'm going to now run a force field. I'm going to see what is holding me back from getting what I want to get, and what is actually giving me what I want. And for some reason, I've got a vacant box that's going right across here. So this is going around life balance. So it's looking at the life balance wheel. It's looking at the brainstorming. It's looking at the strategic SWOT. It's looking at the Toyota 7 wastes. And then you can really analyze, what is it that I'm doing really, really well? So here we've got friends, we've got hobbies, we've got home life, which is great. We've got learning. These are good. The action plans that go in there say, how can we make that even better? So you've got something that's good, that's positive towards getting what you want. You put in action plans, go rock on, what can we do that's better? And one of the things that should be in there, and I haven't looked at those actions to see if it is there, is tell people what you're going to do. So in other words, hold yourself accountable. Tell the family, I have decided, I remember years ago we were in slight crisis, and I said, right, we are going to have an above ground pool. We're going to be going for family walks where we talk, no phones or anything. We put in strategies. So it was not just coming up with the idea and randomly going, anybody want to come for a walk? Or, it was a plan, and it was shared, and also then we got buy-in. But conversely, on the other side of the grid, you've then got negative things that are holding you back. So here you've got examples of family responsibilities, my personal time, bills, health and work. So these things are holding you back from getting good self-management skills, or life balance, whatever you want to call it, time management. These are holding you back. So you can't always necessarily get rid of them, but what you can do is put in some action plans that will help reduce that energy that's holding it in the negatives. So for example, if I think of bills are a big problem, but then it says here, okay, so don't let the paying of bills run away with you. Stick to a budget, so that helps, that gives you a sense of security. Waste audit large bills, so see where you're overspending. So that could be, thinking of household, it can be water, business, it could be electricity, it could even be wages. Could be you've got people, maybe, I don't know, from job share to hot desking to agile work, and there's all sorts of things that could be tied up there. And conserve. So it's also avoiding loss. So it's not just about doing new stuff, it's conserve what you have. Breakages. I'll never forget when I was at the Amex and wasn't working there, but I was quite involved for one reason or another to do with a charity. And when they went to the new premises, they got people in, I think, to help change the culture because they wanted to conserve their new building. The old building, people, there were knocks and grazes, for example, on the corner of walls and doorways and things like that. So they put a lot of time, energy and effort into conserving the new building so that it saved what they had, which would reduce repair and renovation and all the rest of it. So conserving is very, very important. Can I just commend this to you? Mind map, remember that time management is actually self-management. Yes, priority lists are very, very important. To me, though, it's more about being effective with your time, and just make sure that you are not highly effective at being inefficient. Make sure that you're being very efficient with your time as well as being effective. Good luck, and I'll continue soon.